Okay, so finding neutral alignment was step one. Now we're going to briefly talk about moving in neutral alignment. So when you are doing everyday activities, right, you're moving side to side, picking things up, bending down, sitting down, lying down, I want you to focus on alignment of the ear, shoulder, and hip. Okay, so we're keeping the trunk in neutral alignment. We're keeping it vertical, right? Okay, so a common example, what most of us do every single day is we sit down. Okay, so natural tendency for a lot of us is we're slouched, core is not engaged, and we're just kind of going about our day sitting down from a seated position with a hunchback and shoulders rolled forward. But neutral alignment, you're keeping that trunk upright and you're keeping ear, shoulder, and hip in neutral, okay? So obviously if you're sitting for a prolonged period of time, you do want to have some type of back support so that way you can stay in this upright, aligned posture. But if you're just sitting for a short period of time, really try and think about keeping neutral alignment with the trunk of the ear, shoulder, and the hip, okay? Now with bending over to pick something up, instead of reaching forward and folding at the spine and reaching with our hands, we want to shift our hips back. So there's something on the ground that you're going to initiate with the hips. So the hips come back, but as you can see, I'm still in neutral alignment with the ear, shoulder, and hip. So you come all the way down, pick it up, and then go on about your day. This is going to protect the low back and spine as opposed to you not initiating from the hips and you using your back, rounding it, and then using your hands to pick it up. Also, if it's a heavier object, you don't have the assistance from those legs when you reach over with your back and pick up, and if it's heavy, it's gonna potentially hurt your back, whereas if you're in neutral alignment, you initiate with the hips, bend down, you can pick up the heavy object, but push away from the ground using those legs. So that's something to think about as you're pregnant, as you're postpartum, and as you are moving and going about your day. The last one is getting up and down from a lying position. So a lot of times people they sit down, whether it's on the bed, on the floor, and you essentially just like throw your back down as if you're doing a crunch, and then to get up, you kind of use the momentum to throw yourself up. You want to especially avoid this when you are pregnant or if you are recovering after giving birth in your postpartum. So the way that I want you to do this is you're going to come to a seated position on the ground, and then from one side, you're going to reach out so you're in a side lying position, and then as a unit, rotate to come onto your back, lay down, and then you can straighten out those legs if you're lying down. The same thing is if you're getting up off of the ground or if you're getting up out of bed. From a lying position, you're going to roll to one side. Okay, so again, the ear, shoulder, and hip are stacked, and then you can press off of the surface, whether it's the floor or the bed, to come up and then come to a full standing position. So these are just some things to think about as you move, go about your daily life, as you exercise. You want to do your best to keep the trunk in a stacked position so that way the ears, shoulders, and the hips are in proper alignment.